Hi, everyone. All right, so this week is actually your second to last week of distance learning. So make sure you do this week's assignments and next week's assignments. eSchool is updated. I try to update it every day as you submit stuff. Um, Please check and make sure your grade is above a 70% so you get a pass for marking period 4. Um, you have this week and next week, and that's it. And then I put in your grades. So this week we're doing indirect object pronouns and direct object pronouns. I'm not going to lie, they are a little bit difficult. I wish I could be teaching you these in person because it's so much easier when I can show you. But I'm going to do the best that I can. If you have questions, feel free to ask them, and hopefully this makes sense. So first, we're going to tackle indirect object pronouns. Now, you already know indirect object pronouns from Spanish 1. These are the me, te, le, nos, os, and les. We use these with the verb gustar, with the verb encantar, so me gusta, te gusta. We used this in Spanish too with faltar in chapter 5, talking about restaurants. I'm missing a fork, me falta. And we used it with one more, and I can't think of it. But now we're going to use indirect object pronouns in sentences to replace people. So what is an IOP? I'm going to call them IOPs instead of saying indirect object pronouns the whole time. So an IOP answers the question to whom or for whom the action of the verb is being performed. The IOP tells us where the DOP is going. So sentences with an IOP usually have a DOP. Okay, so an IOP is who was receiving the item. So if I give you a gift, who's receiving the gift? You are. Okay, so look at the sentence. Whoever the person is receiving the item is going to be what we're putting an IOP in for. Okay, so again, what are the IOPs? And we use these with gustar, as I said before. So me, te, le, nos, os, and les. Although instead of I, you, notice they have different meanings now. So me is to or for me, which again, I would be receiving the action. If you said, you give a gift to me, okay, I'm the one receiving the action, so we would replace me with me. So we have me, te, le, nos, os, and les. And again, they all mean to or for that person. So you might be a little confused. So what would a sentence look like in English? We give the gift to her. Subject is we. The verb is give. The gift is going to be our direct object, which we're going to talk about in the next section. And to her is our indirect object. So again, who's receiving the gift? It's to her. Another little hint, it's usually the last part of the sentence or the word after to. Because if you're giving someone something, I'm giving it to me, to you, to her, to him, to Lexi, to Savannah. Okay, so look for whatever's after to, because that's usually who's receiving it. So in Spanish, what is that going to look like? We give the gift to her is nosotros damos el regalo a ella. So when you're looking at the sentence in Spanish, look for the a at the end, or sometimes it's in the middle, and the subject pronoun or the name after the a. And that's how you know what we're replacing the IOP with in Spanish. So an IOP is going to simplify our sentence. So a ella, if you look at the T chart of IOPs, you're going to replace that with le. Now what you did was you cross out a ella and replace it with le, but you have to move the word le before the conjugated verb. Okay, so we're going to replace a ella with le, and then look at the bottom of the screen. You put le before damos because that's the conjugated verb. So it's going to go between the subject pronoun and the conjugated verb. And then you could put a ella, you could leave it there, but the reason we're doing this is so that you can cross it out to make the sentence shorter. So the sentence is going to be nosotros le damos el regalo. Okay? I know this is a little bit difficult, just bear with me and refer back to this example screen. So here's a little bit of a breakdown a little further. So how do I write the sentence in Spanish? So an example, I give the gift to her, yo doy el regalo a ella. Our question that we're going to ask ourselves anytime we see a sentence is who is receiving the gift? Okay, the answer is her, a ella. What do we replace a ella with or her with is le. So in Spanish, yo le doy el regalo. Okay, so again, we have to move that le between the subject pronoun and right before the conjugated verb. And then we end up with our full sentence. Okay, and again, there's a little bolded note. The IOP goes before the conjugated verb. So you do have to move it. Okay, and that concludes IOPs. So now remember that IOPs are replacing who is receiving the gift or who is receiving something. Okay, so the recipient of the action in the sentence is going to be your IOP. Now we're going to switch over to direct object pronouns, aka DOPs. So what is a direct object? A direct object is the object that directly receives the action of the verb, and this is called a direct object. So Bill hit the ball. What did Bill hit? The ball. So occasionally the do can be a person. If you have a sentence such as Matt hugged Ilana, therefore Ilana would be the person he hugged, and that would be our DOP. But 90% of the time, the direct object is going to be an item. Okay, so something is going to be receiving the action, and 90% of the time it's going to be an item. So clarification, the direct object answers the question what or whom with regard to what the subject of the sentence is doing. So Bill hit what? Bill hit the ball. Matt hugged Alana. Matt hugged what? Alana. So what is a direct object pronoun? Sometimes the direct object is replaced with a pronoun, the direct object pronoun. So George buys flowers and gives the flowers to Ana. George compra las flores y las da a Ana. Okay, so I'm going to explain this more next slide. So here's our DOP chart. Notice at the top, it's the same as IOPs. You have the me, te, nos, and os. But look at the bottom now. Instead of lay and lace, we have 4 different DOPs. And 90% of the time, it's going to be one of these 4. So I want to say don't worry about the top 4. So focus on the bottom 4. So all you're doing is replacing the item in the sentence with one of these words. Okay? So if it was Bill hits the ball, okay, the ball is la pelota. It's kind of super simple with DOPs because you just replace it with the one that matches it. La pelota, la is already there. You replace it with la. So if the object is masculine and singular, you replace it with lo. So that's going to be el anything. So like el PA or el bolígrafo, you would replace that with lo. Anything with la, you're going to replace it. Anything feminine and singular, you replace with la. Anything masculine and plural, so say los calcetines, you just replace with los. So this is kind of easy because it's pretty much whatever the definite article is, except for el is lo. Again, you're going to replace las if it was like las marcadoras. You're going to replace that with las. So how do you choose? This is what I just broke it down. Lo and la mean it. Los and las mean them. So lo is used with singular masculine nouns. La is used with singular feminine nouns. Los is used with plural masculine nouns. And las is used with plural feminine nouns. And again, same thing as IOPs. The DOP is placed before the conjugated verb. So how do you write the sentence in Spanish? Example, he makes the bread in the kitchen. Okay, él hace el pan en la cocina. So what does he make? He makes the bread, el pan. What do we replace el pan with? Lo. And then remember, we have to move the lo between the subject pronoun and the conjugated verb, just like we do with the IOP. So él lo hace en la cocina. In these sentences, you're going to erase the direct object because we replaced el pan with lo, so we're not going to keep the word el pan in the sentence. You would cross it out. Okay, just like you do with IOPs. So instead of saying el pan, we're going to say lo. So notice we use DOPs to shorten the sentence. So our final sentence is él lo hace en la cocina. The DOP goes before the conjugated verb. We eliminated el pan because we replaced it with lo. Okay, and that's it for IOPs and DOPs. Review this YouTube video if you're stuck, or maybe have it on while you do the worksheet and the quizzes. Okay, so really think about this, write these down. And if you have any questions with DOPs or IOPs, feel free to email me and ask me any questions. All right, see you or talk to you next week.